darkness, gave me a promise to never thirst again. And all that I ever wanted.
Well, good morning, Lufkin Central and Online Worship Community. Jason Hollinger, the campus and community minister here, and we are continuing along the lines of themes we're starting at the beginning of the Bible. We've looked at the Holy Spirit, we've looked at blessings and curses, and today we're going to talk about envy. You know, envy is that desire to possess another person's gifts, possessions, position, or achievements. And the very first example of this comes in the story of Cain and Abel. Of course, you also have, killing, sacrifice or offering to God, anger, strong feeling of, of displeasure. Aroused by a wrong, whether real or perceived, all these different themes that come up in this early chapter. But you also have, again, honesty and dishonesty, along with, giving, God's grace, judgment, persecution, sin, worship. There's lots of different themes that come from here, but I want to focus on envy because this was not the only occasion that this theme of envy or envious uh, shows up onto the scene. Now, envy can be both a noun and a verb, right? It can describe, who we are and can describe what we do. In Genesis 37, a few chapters later, 37 verse 4 says, when his brothers saw that their father loved him more than any of them, they hated him and could not speak a kind word to him. Now, this is Joseph and his brothers. They saw this love that they wanted for themselves. They were envious of him. And so then back in Genesis chapter 4, verses 3 through 5 says, in the course of time, Cain brought some of the fruits of the soil as an offering to the Lord, and Abel also brought an offering, fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flocks. It said, the Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering. And ultimately what we find throughout this section is just this envy that Cain then has, where a theme from this is killing, as Cain kills Abel. We mentioned that it's not the only place in the Bible. Again, not just in Genesis 4 and in Genesis 37. It's a command in Exodus chapter 20, verse 17. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, or his male or female servants, his ox or donkey, or anything that belongs to him. You shall not be envious of him. Proverbs 14:30. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. Envy rots the bones. Galatians 5:26. Let us not become conceited, provoking and envying each other. We see this again, throughout the Bible, throughout the narrative of God's people, of the created, of the image bearers, whether they deny him, reject him, him being God or not, or whether they accept him, right? So envy is something, and I love this, says a heart at peace, going back to this Proverbs 14:30, a heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy rots the bones. That it eats you up from the inside out. It just, man, I mean, you think about it, just the things that it can do to you, the things that it can bring about within you, and in the relationships that you have, and then in the way that you see others. So here's my challenge to you today. You're going to find yourself in a moment where somebody's going to have something that you want. Somebody's going to have something that you desire, and it's not wrong to say, I'd like that too. But if your desire to have that impacts that relationship that you have with somebody else, and just you cannot accomplish anything else because all you're thinking about is having that, well, then you have a serious problem with envy. You have a serious problem with, this desire to, hey, is it about pleasing man or is it about pleasing God? Is it about having approval from man, looking good before humanity, or being right before God? So when you come into that moment, it may be something major, it may be something minor. But when you come into that moment, I want you to think about this. I want you to think about this thought of how envy rots the bones. And maybe take a second and pause and thank God for what you have. And count your blessings, as they say. And honor him with what you have. Can't wait to hear and see how it goes. Y'all have a great day. God bless.
My heart has found in you. I have tasted life, and nothing satisfies like you do. The fountain won't run dry. Nothing satisfies like you do. And I want all that you offer, your living water. Drink from the endless well, and I will sit at your table, forever grateful, forever where you dwell. And all that I ever wanted, my heart has found in you. And I have tasted life, and nothing satisfies like you do. The fountain won't run dry, nothing satisfies like you do. 'Cause all my fountains are in you, and all my hope is built on your love. All my fountains are in you. With every breath I live for you, Lord. All my fountains are in you, and all my hope is built on your love. All my fountains are in you. With every breath I live for you, Lord. And all that I ever wanted, my heart has found in you. I have tasted life, and nothing satisfies like you do. The fountain won't run dry, satisfying.